Now, clearly, law and order is something that Americans value, and for good reason, because without safety, life becomes very difficult when you have woke DAs refusing to prosecute even violent criminals and recommending lenient sentences in the name of, quote, social justice. They are hurting their own community. So what can be done? Well, out in Missouri, the Attorney General is now working to fire a St. Louis circuit attorney named Kim Gardner. Now, keep in mind, St. Louis is one of the most dangerous cities on earth, and in return, Gardner is now playing the race card. Take a look at this.
While it is true my office could have done more, to say we did nothing is only disingenuous, but it's willfully ignorant of the reality of our court system. We're going to fight very hard for justice in spite of the vitriol, the hate, the racist attacks, the known manipulation of the court procedures to make sure our office fails.
All right, joining us now to respond, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey is with us. Sir, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me on.
Let's start with what it is that this attorney is doing, what Kim Gardner is doing, and why it is she should not be holding this position, because what we have is a phenomenon. We have the funding of very weak on law and order candidates being funded, being elected to office only because of the money spent, and they don't enforce the laws of the land, they don't prosecute criminals, and Americans now are at risk as a result. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, this is about the rule of law and justice for victims. I come from a prosecutor's office. I've used prosecutorial discretion to determine whether or not I have sufficient evidence to pursue cases, and that's what prosecutorial discretion is about. It is not an after-the-fact veto to nullify laws you don't like. So if you don't want to enforce laws, don't take a job as a prosecutor. But what we have in the city of St. Louis is a circuit attorney who is illegally, unlawfully, willfully neglected her duties. And she's done that in three ways. She's failed to prosecute pending cases that then languish on the dockets and are eventually dismissed. She's failed to inform and confer with victims, which is her constitutional and statutory, not to mention her moral obligation. And she's also failed to file new charges referred to her by law enforcement officers. So we're going to stand up and fight for the rule of law and for justice for these victims.
Let's talk about her failure to notify or confer with victims. Let's talk about the Daniel Riley case, a teenage athlete walking back to a hotel in downtown St. Louis in February. Miss Edmondson and her family walked down the sidewalk. A speeding car, Daniel Riley, crashing into another car, striking Miss Edmondson, severing one of her legs, maiming another. What happened in that case?
Well, look, Defendant Riley should have been locked up in jail awaiting trial. He was arrested for a violent offense and should not have been out on bond. But after he was out on bond, he committed numerous bond violations, and the circuit attorney never moved to revoke his bond. Now, she will tell you that she made oral motion in court and that it's the court's fault his bond wasn't revoked. But she has a responsibility here, and here's the thing that she's got a problem with. Everything that happens in court is transcribed. There are court records in the form of electronic docket entries, and there are memos that become part of the court record. And what she's saying happened is directly refuted by the evidence in this case. She says that on August 10th, she fought against bond for Mr. Riley, and yet the transcript from that hearing shows she consented to the bond. So her statements don't add up, and luckily we have evidence to disprove them. But this isn't about just one case. This is a continuous pattern of behavior that constitutes an illegal, willful neglect in office.
All right, so do you believe you have the capacity to finally remove her?
That is exactly what we're doing. We filed a writ of quo warranto. It's a legal mechanism provided in statute by the people's elected representatives that empowers me to take this action. It's a check and balance at the state level against this kind of behavior. And it's time for the circuit attorney to go and the rule of law and justice to prevail.
All right, Attorney General Bailey, we appreciate your time. Thank you, sir. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.